Capitalism. It's the air we breathe, the water we swim in, a system so pervasive, so deeply ingrained in our collective psyche, that it's often difficult to imagine an alternative. It shapes our daily lives, our aspirations, and even our identities. We are told it's a system built on merit, on hard work, where anyone can climb the ladder of success. The narrative is compelling. Work hard, and you will be rewarded. Yet, as we delve deeper, cracks begin to appear in this narrative. The reality is often starkly different from the idealized version we are sold. This essay, drawing insights from our book, Consequences of Capitalism, Manufacturing, Discontent and Resistance, seeks to examine the hidden costs of this ubiquitous system. We aim to peel back the layers and reveal the underlying mechanisms that perpetuate inequality and discontent. From widening inequality to the erosion of public welfare, the consequences of unfettered capitalism are far-reaching and profound. The system often prioritizes profit over people, leading to social and economic disparities that affect millions. We aim to unpack these complex issues, shedding light on the ways in which this system perpetuates disparities and undermines the well-being of the many for the benefit of the few. By understanding these dynamics, we can begin to envision a more equitable future. Our exploration will be guided by a critical lens, one that challenges the prevailing narratives surrounding capitalism and its supposed merits. We will question the assumptions that underpin this system, and explore alternative models that prioritize human well-being over profit. By examining the experiences of those most impacted by its shortcomings, we hope to illuminate the urgent need for a more just and equitable society. These stories and perspectives are crucial for understanding the full impact of capitalism. This is not just an academic exercise, it's a call to action. We must move beyond mere critique and towards tangible change. We urge you to engage critically with the ideas presented, to question the status quo, and to join the growing chorus of voices demanding a better world. Together we can work towards a future where equity and justice are not just ideals, but realities. One of the most pervasive myths peddled by proponents of capitalism is the notion of a level playing field, where everyone supposedly has an equal chance to succeed. This idea, deeply ingrained in the capitalist ethos, suggests that success is primarily a product of individual effort and talent. It paints a picture of a meritocratic society where hard work and determination are all you need to climb the social ladder. Work hard, we are told, and you too can achieve prosperity. This narrative is comforting and appealing, as it places the power of success squarely in the hands of the individual. However, this narrative ignores the stark realities of systemic inequality that are baked into the very fabric of capitalism. It overlooks the barriers that many face, which are often insurmountable despite their best efforts. The truth is, the playing field is far from level. The disparities in wealth, education, and access to opportunities create a chasm that is difficult to bridge. Access to opportunities, resources, and even basic necessities like healthcare and education are often determined by factors beyond an individual's control. These include the socioeconomic status of one's family, the quality of local schools, and the availability of community resources. This image illustrates the stark reality of inequality under capitalism. While some are burdened with immense challenges, others glide effortlessly towards success. While some struggle to overcome systemic barriers, others benefit from an uneven playing field that grants them an easier path to success. This disparity is not just a matter of personal effort but of structural advantages and disadvantages. This is not to say that individual effort is irrelevant, but rather to highlight the profound influence of systemic factors that shape outcomes. Hard work can lead to success, but it is often not enough on its own. The concentration of wealth and power in the hands of a select few further exacerbates these disparities. Those at the top have the means to influence policies and shape economic conditions to their advantage. As the gap between the haves and have-nots widens, so too does the ability of the privileged elite to influence policies and shape narratives that perpetuate their advantage. This cycle of inequality continues, making it increasingly difficult for those at the bottom to rise. The pursuit of profit, a cornerstone of capitalist ideology, often comes at the expense of public welfare. Essential services such as healthcare, education, and social safety nets are increasingly treated as commodities rather than fundamental rights. Healthcare, a basic human need, becomes a luxury accessible only to those who can afford it. Education, the key to upward mobility, becomes a debt sentence for many. perpetuating cycles of poverty and limiting opportunities for advancement. This commodification of essential services undermines the very fabric of a just and equitable society. This image captures the human cost of treating healthcare as a commodity. For many, access to essential medical care is a constant struggle, a source of anxiety and uncertainty. This reality stands in stark contrast to the values of compassion, empathy, and social responsibility that should guide a just and equitable society. The erosion of public welfare is not an unintended consequence of capitalism, it is a feature, not a bug. By prioritizing private profit over public good, the system creates an environment where essential services are increasingly out of reach for those who need them most. Section 4. The Seeds of Discontent. Social Movements as a Response. The inherent contradictions of capitalism, the widening gap between its promises and its realities, inevitably sow the seeds of discontent. From Occupy Wall Street to Black Lives Matter, social movements have emerged as a powerful force challenging the inequalities and injustices perpetuated by the system. These movements, often led by those most marginalized and disenfranchised, give voice to the voiceless and demand a more just and equitable world. They challenge the prevailing narratives that justify inequality, expose the hypocrisy of a system that prioritizes profit over people, and demand systemic change. This image encapsulates the energy and diversity of social movements fighting for a better future. These movements are a testament to the indomitable human spirit, the refusal to accept injustice, and the unwavering belief in the possibility of a better world. While these movements may take different forms and focus on a range of issues, they are united by a common thread, a rejection of the status quo, and a demand for a system that works for everyone, not just the privileged few. Section 5. COVID-19. Exposing capitalism's fragile foundations. The COVID-19 pandemic served as a stark reminder of the fragility of systems built on the relentless pursuit of profit. As the virus spread across the globe, it exposed the deep inequalities and systemic failures that plague capitalist societies. Healthcare systems, already strained by decades of underfunding and privatization, were pushed to the brink. Essential workers, often those in low-wage, precarious jobs, were deemed essential yet denied basic protections and fair compensation. The pandemic in many ways amplified the existing fault lines of inequality. This image captures the multifaceted impact of the pandemic, highlighting the strain on healthcare systems and the unequal distribution of resources. It underscores the interconnectedness of our world and the shared vulnerability that transcends borders and socioeconomic status. The pandemic also exposed the limitations of a system that prioritizes short-term profits over long-term resilience. The scramble for vaccines, the hoarding of resources, and the lack of coordinated global action highlighted the shortcomings of a system driven by self-interest rather than collective well-being. Section 6. The Urgency of Now, a Call to Action. The challenges we face are complex and interconnected, but they are not insurmountable. Each issue, whether it be poverty, inequality, or climate change, is a piece of a larger puzzle that we must solve together. The first step towards meaningful change is recognizing the urgency of the situation. Time is not on our side, and every moment we delay, the problems grow more severe. We can no longer afford to ignore the consequences of unchecked capitalism, the widening inequality, and the systemic issues that perpetuate these conditions. The erosion of public welfare, which leaves our most vulnerable populations without the support they need to thrive. And the looming threat of climate change, which poses an existential risk to our planet and future generations. The time for complacency is over. We must rise to the occasion and take decisive action. We must move beyond simply acknowledging these problems and embrace a more proactive approach. This means getting involved in our communities, advocating for change, and supporting policies that promote equity and sustainability. This requires a fundamental shift in our thinking, a move away from the individualistic ethos of capitalism towards a more collective, compassionate, and equitable worldview. We must foster a sense of community and mutual aid, where we look out for one another and work together towards common goals. This image serves as a stark reminder of the interconnected nature of global challenges and the need for collective action to address them. No single person or nation can solve these issues alone. It underscores the urgency of the situation and the need for a paradigm shift in how we approach these issues. We must act swiftly and decisively. We must recognize that we are not passive bystanders in this unfolding drama. We are active participants. Our involvement is crucial. Our choices, our actions, and our voices matter. They shape the world we live in and the future we will leave behind. And our inactions have consequences. If we fail to act, the repercussions will be dire and far-reaching. The future we create will be a reflection of the choices we make today. Let us choose wisely and act with courage and conviction.